if he's chipping out of the trees.
Is he capable of doing the things?
Very inconsistent.
More than half an hour, Paul, to dissect your game. Involved in that first hour before he plays, as opposed to having a cooked breakfast.
I am here, guys.
Yeah, I know you won't take this well tonight, Paul.
To help me with my challenge to half my handicap in 2023, I thought it would be a good idea to get my team on a video call. So I've got my golf coach, my performance coach, my PT and my data analyst all on a conference call. This could get ugly. Hi, I'm Paul and this is the Golf Show, Half My Handicap.
The main focus really that I want to look at is getting an understanding of what you're all working on with Paul at the minute. So your thoughts on where his areas of improvement might be. Just as much info as you guys can give me with regards to where you feel like he is now, swing mechanics wise, performance wise, what you're looking for in his improvement.
Played a lot of golf with Paul, obviously taught him for the last probably 10 years or so. I would say, don't hate me for this, Paul, but very inconsistent. Looking at his swing over the years, we've probably worked quite a lot on improving the swing from a mechanical point of view, from just simplifying it, trying to shorten the backswing, for example. Sways off the golf ball quite a lot, especially with the driver. It's got the early extension going on, which a lot of people do, and has a kind of an over-the-top move as well. So they're kind of the key areas.
He's got a lot of lift, hasn't he? There's a lot of up, not a lot of turn.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'd like to see what his kind of separation would be from hips and upper body. Probably none.
Yeah, I mean that was one.
I am here, guys.
Was definitely. Yeah, I know you won't take this well tonight. But doing what you're doing is pulling us all together, and you can definitely do what you're trying to do without really changing drastic areas. Just improvements in every department, every facet of your game.
If you were going through a coaching session with Paul, what is it that you would like to see him doing more of? If we could get his body in a better position, what is it that you would like to see happening in his swing?
I would say the early extension, so his impact position as he sort of moves towards the ball has always been an issue. And like Chris was alluding to, the rotational side of it, the separation between upper body and lower body just hasn't got that ability to separate. Hence, knowing what we know now, the early extension, the over the top, they're massive contributors from not having that separation.
That's the whole thing as well, isn't it? This is, it's invaluable really, even before I get hands on and assess Paul and look at what the mechanics of the body are capable of doing. Getting a real understanding of what you guys see when you are coaching him is really helpful. So Craig, I know in your report you'd mentioned, if I picked this up right, that versus a scratch player off the tee at the minute, he's probably around 40 yards short at the minute.
Yeah, 43 yards shorter.
Yeah, 43. Okay. Fairways missed, so is 11% difference between ball and scratch.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily the severity. It's not the misses of the fairway, in my view, that is the issue. It's the severity of the misses, right? So if you missed 11 fairways and hit them in the rough, it's fine. It's no problem. It's the issue that from those rounds that we took, what did he have? He had 11 recovery shots and 4 penalties. And that was just in a 6-round game. So my suggestion would be, is there an opportunity there? Yes, driving distance is important. However, right now, if you got those misses into the rough versus recovery and out of bounds, for example, that's worth at least a few strokes. Did everyone get the discussion document?
Yeah.
And
would
that discussion document be a fair representation of Paul's performance, do you think? Are we kind of aligned with those kind of focus areas there?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. This might be quite helpful. We found this is extremely helpful for teams.
Yeah.
So providing everyone's comfortable with it, we agree that these are the 3 focus areas for the player. Now, John, this is where I think this will hopefully make your life a little bit easier, right? Because everyone's going to have ideas. And I think it's important to relate ideas to score, right? So you're right, are you winning and everyone can swing perfectly if they want to, but however, is it going to help Paul reduce his score? So what we've done through here is that we've gone, if one of the key focuses is drives there, we know the value of getting him to male scratch, right? So the goal there is to get him to scratch. We know the value of that. That's worth 4.48 strokes per round. So it's pretty high. What we've then done through here, guys, is we've listed out, so a key performance indicator. So what are those things that collectively we could be looking for that if these were achieved, this to this to this, if these were all achieved, it would probably mean that he's performing at male scratch, right? Which in turn is worth 4.48 strokes. What I would suggest, Paul, it might be a really good idea to have a secondary meeting with the team or get everyone's opinion around, okay, if we've all agreed that that's the case in this instance, it might be worthwhile everybody then putting down the actions that they're going to take and also, Paul, the actions you're going to take in order to achieve that. And because this becomes a very powerful tool when you're sitting back, talking with your team, and let's say I put these dates down here. It could be 90 days. It could be whatever time frame you guys select. And the time frames are generally, Paul, it'll be probably you're leaning on Guy and Chris on this one. A wee bit on, hey, how long do you think it's going to take? But these would be, in my view, very quantifiable, very objective. So as an example, if you said, I'm going to practice more, okay, well, what does that really mean? And can we track it? So you may say, I'm going to be practicing 3 times per week on this area. Okay, cool. But those practices will need to be logged. So we can all look back on this in 30 days and go, hey, first of all, it's pretty binary, right? Has this been done? Have we worked on this area? Have you got to scratch? Or have you improved, right? Have you saved a little bit? It's binary, yes or no. If you have, congratulations, the whole team should be popping champagne, right? If you haven't, okay, which of the KPIs may not have been achieved? And in which turn, what actions have not been taken by the team? So has someone said they were going to do something and not done the thing they said they're going to do? And what we found is this creates a beautiful accountability framework for the collective group. And if you've got kind of 5 people on a call, accountability is often a beautiful thing, but it's hard to have this conversation. You don't have it documented first up. So my suggestion would be, like John, for example, if Guy and Chris were wanting to work on something, I don't know, putting from under 7 feet, there could be some eye-line stability. I don't know, something going on, but there could be like thoracic stability or scapular control. So I don't know, like I'm just making stuff up here. However, in my view, it's quite important for you to know what the team are working on to then ensure that you're supporting the coaches to know that Paul is able to create the movement in order to achieve the technical prowess. Because in our view, the technical piece has only got to do 3 things, right? You've got to be consistent, accurate, and powerful. It's kind of nipping those 3 boxes. And therefore, in our view, the physios that we've seen and the strength and conditioning coaches we've seen do the best job is they've gone, coaches, what are you wanting the player to be achieving? And then they're supporting the player achieve those and be consistent in being able to achieve that movement. And then it's a pre-run for the coaches and then just making sure that the player's doing the things they said they're going to do. But if this would help, I'll share this with everyone after this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, the big thing from the assessment will sort of clarify whether or not we can achieve certain movements as a baseline. And then I think where my role is really comes into its own is can we move those baselines further up every time as well? But that is, having that clarification, having that little bit of accountability and really trying to understand what you're all working on from a coaching perspective in that period of time can really, it can inform the decisions of what we do from a training perspective. It could be that we put more emphasis on mobility work. It could be that when we've ticked that off and we've got a green light, Paul's body's moving as we want it to, then we can load up and we can start to develop the strength and the power that would lead to swing speed and distance, etc. But,
I'd be really interested to understand from you, John, because it's also really important to understand, is he capable of doing the things that we want to do, right? Because I also think it's really important to call that out really quickly. Like someone could get thoracic rotation, but it could take him 12 months to get it to the point where you want to, where Guy and Chris are happy to be able to do that, and it's just not going to meet the time frame. And so I think it's really important to call that out really, really fast, because the score is just a combination of multiple shots within a game, right? So we might just have to lean on a certain area and double down on something else to kind of bridge that gap there, which I think will be extremely helpful for the team. And then if that's the case, and Guy, Chris, and John, like, we're here for you, mate. So essentially, we see our job is to provide you guys with the information you need to be able to help Full be successful.
Maybe then some thoughts from you, Chris, as well, with regards to what you're going to be looking at, or what you see at the minute with regards to Paul's performance, etc., and what you're looking and what your thoughts are right now with regards to where he can improve and what you'll be working on.
Yeah, I think obviously what I talked to Paul about and what we try and get him to practice and the performance side of it just fits in really nicely with what Craig said. And so obviously Craig on the Draw More Circles app, it actually throws at you some small practice sessions what Paul can probably do on his own. So like the very short ones, 5 shots here, 5 shots there. So Paul can probably do that quite easily by himself. I think what we'll try and then do is utilize time with me more effectively and have longer sessions where we would build into sort of pre-shot routines into these games, shot selection, going through the whole process, as opposed to Paul just going, 5 shots, can I get 5 drivers in there? I'll structure various games around, obviously driving, around short games at 20 to 70 yards area, and some putting games as well. So I thought maybe for Paul straight away, we just get him in there with like a favourite yardage. So like a favourite swing position with his sand wedge, his lob wedge, and his gap wedge. It goes a number. So we're not into full Matt Fitzpatrick detail or Bernard Langer detail here, but Paul can know he's got 3 sort of key shots what are going to help him. If he's chipping out the trees, he can get it to 70 yards every time, or if he's laying up on a par 5, he's getting it to his favourite yardage every time. So I think that was quite a nice one to do, and we can plan games around that as well. So yeah, like I said, just been really effective with his time. So obviously use the circles feedback, but then obviously we'll hopefully get a few hours here and there in where we can put him through his paces a little bit and probably put a little bit more pressure on him as it would be going down the stretch at Fulford. So I think just on the back of that as well, I think just sorry for the challenge, just to say something. Obviously you played it, John. Guy knows it better than anyone, but just for Craig's point of view, like Fulford's probably one of the hardest golf courses in Yorkshire. It's tight, right? So Paul's shots get punished more than you would at probably most golf courses in the area.
What you'll be working on then, Chris, is very much performance-based practice and really helping him to structure that sort of game-based session, competitive, keeping the progress going in that respect.
Yeah. Just off my background of playing and not always so much the practice, maybe the preparation pre. Like obviously your warm up would be incorporated into a pre-match warm up, but then obviously my take on how we would prepare on the range or in the net even before he plays at Fulford is quite essential as well, isn't it? So not just warming his body up, but warming his mind up and guys warming his swing up. So we kind of there's all 3 elements involved in that first hour before he plays, as opposed to having a cooked breakfast.
Would it be helpful, guys, if we can get you all set up as a coach in Circle? So John and Guy, we can get you all set up as well. So any time that Paul logs a practice, you get instantly notified of what's going on.
This is great, guys. And I really appreciate your time. I'll keep us within the timescales, but just having that I like those KPIs. If you could send that out, Craig, that'd be brilliant. I can have a chat with the guys about those and get that back to you, let you know what I'm working on. But it just gives me that bit of drive. I don't want to come on this call again and waste your guys' time in a month's time having done nothing, because that's just pointless. So this is all going to keep me super motivated, which I am anyway, just to really kick on. Wow, that was a bit like being at your own funeral. Brutal truth, but it was beautiful, wasn't it? I really appreciate the guys' honesty. They really care. They really want to help me half my handicap in 2023. So I'm really up for this challenge. Guys, I hope you are too. Everything you see on this series, this Half My Handicap series, I want you guys to be able to replicate. I'm not going to do anything that's super expensive, so hopefully you can get a few ideas from each of the episodes to help you improve your game and enjoy your golf a bit more. If you like that, give us a like. If you really enjoyed it, give us a subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Golf Show Half My Handicap. I hope you enjoyed that episode of The Golf Show. To watch another, click here. To subscribe, click here.